So you want to become a professional athlete. Maybe you want to become a professional coach. What does it take to actually make a living? Over the course of about 4 years, I slowly turned my Brazilian jiu-jitsu hobby into what I would now consider my main source of income. This isn't what I imagined it would look like, and most people wouldn't want the type of life that I have. Part of my job is going out to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class, getting better at the moves, and then teaching them, and then I get paid for that. I don't really get paid off of professionally competing. Competing is a part of my job, but it's not the primary focus of my job. Primarily, I would say I'm an instructor, I'm a trainer. I don't make a lot of money. I make enough money for me. Essentially, when it comes to making money in, let's just say, combat sports, because that's really my area of expertise, and more specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Over the 4 years that I turned my hobby of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu into my profession of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I lived in a way that most people wouldn't be able to afford. I didn't spend a lot of money. I was in college. I had a girlfriend, but I didn't have kids to support. I didn't have a ton of financial obligations. Essentially, I didn't have any money that I really needed to survive. I could essentially just work very minimally, go to my classes, and then spend my free time training. Most people aren't able to do that. Most adults have a real job that requires them to go and be in a physical location. Or the amount of time that I had to put into training while also paying for it or being paid nothing was more than most people are able to devote. And that's okay. But there's so many hurdles to overcome, and once you get to that point where you can, let's say, make enough money off coaching some classes to pay for your rent, some groceries, and some gas. Once you get to that point, you have put in so much more effort than you would need to meet that base requirement of being able to basically feed yourself. The way I put it is, in order to get my purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is about when things sort of changed for me. I was coaching up until that point, but when I got my purple belt, I had some more opportunities for competitions. I had more coaching, programs grew. Essentially, that's when I made the shift from, okay, this is sort of my hobby, to like, okay, now it's like my main thing that I can focus on. To get to that point took significantly more effort than it did to achieve a bachelor's degree in information technology, a CompTIA A+ certification, and a CompTIA Security Plus certification. That was my academic career. That was way, way, way easier than getting my purple belt. I put in this much effort to get my purple belt. To do those things, I put in like this much effort. Obviously, this is no real scale for effort, but it was easily twice as hard to get my purple belt. And with that, you can actually do a lot more things, like get a job that pays you money to pay for rent and food, and actually wait a lot more. So at the end of the day, you have to sacrifice a lot of time to get to essentially a minimum wage job. When you start off coaching, it's just not that much money. Then you have to sort of go down the entrepreneurial path, which is not something everybody wants to do. It's a calling for a lot of people, but it's also, it's hard, and it's not a guarantee. And there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there who own gyms who are like struggling to make $30,000 a year, and they love it. The thing about becoming a professional athlete, coach, grappler, whatever, you're not going to do that unless you love it. Yeah, I get paid to do it, but I would do it for free. In fact, I paid to do it for a really long time, and I still feel like I'm cheating every single time I get a paycheck. I'm like, wait. You're paying me to go and do the thing that's the most fun thing in my entire life. It's the highlight of my day to go out and train and coach. Both. I mean, they have their own rewards. Training is fun and coaching is fun. They're fun for different reasons. I get paid? Look, I'm not rich, but damn, it feels like it. The reason I was able to fill up my gas tank is because I got really, 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 really good at choking people unconscious if they didn't tap. Now, of course, you let them go, but I put a couple people to sleep. It's a weird job where one of the qualifications is I could strangle a grown man. Most grown men I could strangle unconscious, and I can say that with the utmost confidence because most people don't train jiu-jitsu. And most people who do train jiu-jitsu are not purple belts. And most purple belts don't want to catch these hands, calling you out, anyone who wants to get a match. I love the day-to-day. So I wake up pretty early because I go to bed pretty early. I take care of my dog. I get a little bit of nutrition, a little bit of food. I take a hot bath to get warm, like physically warm. And I grab my gym bag. I drive to the gym. I go, and for an hour, I train really, really hard, and I have fun. Most people don't like training. Jiu-jitsu in general, it's tough. Most people don't like doing that every single day either. You know, I've slowly built up to the point where I essentially train almost every day. Sometimes I use coaching as like a rest and recovery thing. Like I might do a few rolls here or there, but it's mostly a recovery and I'm still thinking about it. So I train and then I come back, I shower, I clean, I take care of some, stuff I got to do at home. I refuel, I get ready to go, and then I go teach the kids class. I go back to the gym, and for another hour, I get to do some more. I mean, it's not as much training, but I certainly am still getting better at jiu-jitsu because I'm thinking about it, I'm explaining it. In fact, one might argue you get even better coaching because you have to understand the details and why, and you're explaining this, that, and the other. I come back, and I eat some dinner. I take care of my dog again. I do some more recovery, film some YouTube videos. And, I'm going to go to bed early and rinse and repeat. I'm going to probably train. I'm going to probably coach. And I'm going to fill my time with things in between that I find meaningful and productive. And I really like that. And so the sacrifices I've made have been well worth it. I don't think most people would want to be in my position because most people can't handle this pace of training. And I couldn't handle this pace of training when I first started either. I'm not like completely unusual. I just slowly built up over time. Like I started off about 3 or 4 days a week and I added on a day here, an hour there, a little bit of coaching here, a little bit of this there. If I was pushing too hard, I'd have to let off the gas pedal until I found where I can do it just about every single day. I can do it every single day, but I couldn't when I started. And I think the place I'm at now, it's very nice because my time is spent doing exactly what I want to do. It took a lot of time. My career, my hobby is now one and the same. And that took a way more effort than it did to get my bachelor's degree. And I'm making way less money than I would had I only focused on IT work. And, I could probably be making $100,000 a year if I really put that same amount of effort into becoming the best IT employee I possibly could. But that's not exciting for me. I don't wake up every day and get out of bed and be like, heck yeah, let's go solve some IT problems. Like, okay, yeah, that's cool. That's a skill that I have. I understand how these things work and I can fix them. But I get out of bed every day thinking, heck yeah, we're going to teach some kids how to be more confident. I'm going to go out there and have a really good interaction with this guy who spends most of his day working. And him and I are going to get to train together. We're going to be able to talk about something that we're both interested in. And I'm going to be able to give him a tip like, hey, it actually works better if you do it like this. He's like, oh, thanks, man. That was really, I'm glad you showed me that. And that makes me feel good. It's something I worked really hard to learn. And when I can help other people, it makes me very happy. And then when I learn something too, because I'm constantly learning things all the time, it's such a beautiful feeling. And to me, even though I could be making way more money, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I think it's very special when you can really put in the work to make something like jiu-jitsu your career. I think the reason why most people don't do it is because it starts off really, really slow and it takes a really, really long time to where you're even good enough to be a minimum wage employee. Like your first time starting as a coach, like it takes so long to get that good. And that's like minimum wage or less or pay. When I first started coaching, I wasn't getting paid anything, which is fine. I was getting paid the privilege of learning how to coach and also not having to pay my gym membership. That was really a very humble beginning. I think this means it's the end of the video. This is my dog. Peace.